Why isn't it going?
Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! Six! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up, and let's go.
It's The Rush Radio at TheRushRadio.com. Good to have you along on a Wednesday morning. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. And if you're listening to The Rush Radio powered by Willis Automotive on the stream, good to have you here. If you're watching on YouTube, just give this video a subscription and also a like. And, well, you'll be ready to go every time you know we go up, especially when you set those notifications up. Don't forget to follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Hello there, Ross Peterson.
What's up, buddy? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My wife's out walking around. She's taking in the sights by herself, getting a little time by herself. I think she's ready to be away from me for a couple of minutes. She was in a car with me for a long time yesterday, and I got ripped. I got ripped yesterday. That's when I hopped on the video chat, and I chatted with you a little bit. I'm like, don't forget to get off on time, you know. I'm trying to produce the show, even as I'm 3-4 bottles in. I'm like, I gotta be. And today I go, hey Ross, are we gonna hit the countdown? Are we gonna do the countdown?
Yeah, I was late.
Oh.
As most of you would know by now, I was about. Travis, I was sitting here talking. I'm not paying attention.
And I'm a bit of a control freak, and so that's why we get along so well. Ross is ba 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 ba, and I'm a control freak.
What's the there's a line in Home Alone, and I can never get it right. I'm what the French call something. They got a word for me.
Oh man, are you throwing a pizza party today? Did I hear that? You're throwing a pizza party?
I am. Yeah. I got a busy day today, but part of my day today is throwing a pizza party for the teachers at Audrey's school. Big, and this big thanks to our friends down at Truman's, because I reached out to Chris. I've done this the last couple years, but man, like incredibly easy to do this. I basically get the number of people I want to feed, whatever their food requirements are. There's a couple that don't want pork, no gluten, vegan, dairy-free, some things like that, right? I literally called Chris and said, I need to feed this many people with these restrictions. And he said, here's what I would do. You get a discount because you're buying it for teachers. And within 3 minutes of calling Chris, I was paying the bill, and now I'm picking them up this morning. So, like, unbelievably easy to work with the guys at Full Court Press. And I could have done that with Fong's, but I did it from Truman's last year, and the teachers really liked the variety because they have pickle pizza.
You're not a pickle guy?
I barely got those words. I'm not like pickle averse. I'm not anti-pickle, but I'm not going to go out of my way to put pickles on anything.
Yeah, pickles are one of those things where they can be a great accent and add flavor, but there's a fine line between going over the top with pickles to where it's just like, oh, it's just way too much pickle.
Yeah.
Or, and it's hard to find that happy medium, right?
It drowns out all the other flavors if you do it wrong, right? So that was one that was a favorite. So it was easy just to go back to Truman's again, and Chris made things super duper easy. So happy to do that. I love Audrey's school. She goes to the Horizon Science Academy and the old Franklin Junior High. I could not have imagined having a better group of people around my daughter or a better curriculum. Dude, she has amazing technology. I think I've talked about her being on the coding team. She's on. This is her second year in third grade. It's her second year on a coding team. Trav, she helps make an app. And then they compete against other schools on who made the best app. And this year, her school had 2 teams.
Wow.
It's so cool. It's so cool. She's doing a science fair project right now. The science fair is on Friday. And then when the science fair is over, I'm taking Audrey and one of her friends down to KC for a spring break trip. Just for the weekend.
How many pizzas did you have to bring in today? Like, are we talking like 20 pizzas?
Not quite 20, because it's only like 26 people. So I think it was 12 pizzas, if I remember right. 10 or 12.
That's not bad.
No, it won't be not bad at all, and worth it because again, love the place and want to say thanks to those folks. So
You know, it's interesting because you hear gluten free and all that stuff, and I get it. When you come over here, and for those of you who are watching me for the first time this week, I'm in Florence, Italy right now. So it's noon here. So a lot of people are getting ready to have a little bit of lunch. But I know people that come over here that are gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant, and they can eat whatever they want over here because the flour's different, the milk's different, it's all fresh. Matter of fact, we're traveling with somebody who's lactose intolerant, and he's been drinking milk the whole time. He goes, I don't know why I'm not. I go, because it's just different. You know, it's just
crazy. Even lactose, like the gluten
Yes.
I get because the flour is different. How's the milk different?
I don't know.
And I'm with you, Trav. And you don't see a lot of obese people in Europe. I mean, it's
Well, and the reason I think that is, and you know this just from going to Portugal, I haven't done really anything major, and I've gone over 10,000 steps a day. That's 5 miles every day,
true, yeah.
Without doing anything. Right? I go, if I actually put my mind to it, I could easily put 20,000 steps in and not even think about it. It's crazy. So I mean, I've been eating more than I ever have, Ross, since last March. Or God, it's been a year now since I started my weight loss journey, and I have a feeling I'm going to go back and having lost weight. And I've eaten a lot, and I've drank a lot. Had some ice cream before I went to bed last night. Had a little gelato. Had some fragole, which is strawberry and lemon put together. Limone and fragole. I love how they just put an A after everything. Limone and fragole. So. Yeah, so that's today's kind of a nothing day for me. My wife's out walking around, and I'm doing the show, and then it's just kind of a veg out day. Which I think you should always build those into a vacation. Just build a couple veg out days where you don't have any obligations, you don't have to be anywhere, and it lets the stress level go down a little bit. But I will say I'm starting to miss home. It's as much as I love going on vacation. But, I've been gone since last Thursday, and, living out of a suitcase, living out of a hotel room, you just you miss what you have in your own house, your own bathroom, your own bed.
You're staying in the same town. You're in the same hotel the whole time.
Yes, same hotel the whole time, which is nice because we can unpack everything. We're not going to taking suitcase to suitcase, but I miss Owen, I miss Greta, I miss my kitchen, I miss everything. So I'm come next Tuesday when I finally get on the plane, I'm gonna be like, I'm ready to go home, very much ready to go home.
Come Monday, it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a Jimmy Buffett song,
Oh, that's right. Come Monday.
That's a good.
Were you a Jimmy Buffett guy?
He's got a couple really good ones, man. He's got it.
But you weren't a parrot head, were you?
No, I wouldn't call myself a parrot head. I never saw the guy live in concert, but I don't know how every man doesn't hear a pirate looks at 40 and go, oh. That's it. I think he's got some beautiful songs. Margaritaville, not Margaritaville, I wouldn't call beautiful.
And that's the thing. I'd say that most of the population knows Margaritaville, and I never really got into Jimmy Buffett. I wish I would have, and I guess I still can. But I remember when Jimmy Buffett came to Wells Fargo Arena, and they had like the Parrot Head party out in the parking lot. I mean, they came from all over. Parrot Heads are a lot like Deadheads, right? They would just or Dave Matthews Band or Fish. They would just travel around and watch them.
And I don't know that Kenny Chesney necessarily has that traveling pack, because I think you're right, Trav. When I think of like traveling fans, it's Grateful Dead, Fish. You got those jam bands, you know what I mean? String Cheese Incident and Widespread Panic and those guys. But then Jimmy Buffett's kind of in a different category with Dave Matthews. And you know who the other guy is? I don't think they travel around as much, but definitely that kind of shoes off, toes in the sand type. Kenny Chesney has kind of taken over that. I don't want to say taken over the parrot head thing, but he's kind of in that vein, I feel like, where his concerts, I think, are being sold more as like a party than instead of going to see Kenny Chesney, come out with your bunch of your friends and pretend like you're on the beach. And a guy's going to play music, and oh, by the way, it's Kenny freaking Chesney. That's what, and maybe I'm wrong about that. This is my perception of it.
I think, did he ever do anything with Buffett towards the end of his life? Because
Man, they had to have. Did they do 5 o'clock somewhere together or something like that? Or
well, no, that was Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson
okay.
did 5 o'clock somewhere with Jimmy Buffett. But you're right. Kenny Chesney's kind of adopted this island life, this water life, living on the water. And I think you look at these bands that just travel and they just, I was reminded of it yesterday. Yeah. And we went to 3 wineries yesterday. And the one I remember the most was not the fanciest. In fact, it was probably the most basic. But we pull up and and the dad, who's like 75 years old, is up in an olive tree pruning it. The mom is making lunch for us, and the daughter is doing the tasting. And they only have 3 wines on their estate. And I'm like, okay, but it was the experience, right? We went to this really fancy winery to start with, which was really nice, great wines, but it was kind of a production. We went to this mom and pop house, and you're like, this is about as authentic as it gets. They do everything. They only produce 6,000 bottles. That doesn't sound like a lot, but for them, that keeps the lights on, keeps the farm going, and they produce olive oil. And I'm like, this is authentic. And we were driving home. I go, it's the experience you remember, not the wine. The wine, you may go, God, this was a good wine, but you'll remember where you were because you had the mom, the dad, and the daughter just doing everything. And I think these concerts are experiences, not necessarily the music.
Trav, over and over again, we talk about it, and it finds its way back around. You remember the way you feel. You might not remember the specific details. The details get locked in when you have that big feeling hit you. When that adrenaline rushes in some way, that's when all those memories sink in. I'm thinking of the exact same thing about meals that I had, and it is all about that experience that you had. It's all about how the person that was there made you feel in that moment.
Let's bring this back to sports now, and even locally. Iowa State fans converge on Kansas City every single year, and they do it because they want to watch the Cyclones play basketball. But what do you think they really, really remember the most? It's the party at the Power and Light District. It's getting together with thousands of Cyclone fans, having a tailgate, having a pep rally, and it's that euphoric religious mob experience where you get together like, yeah, we're going to take this over. I bet if you were to talk to most Cyclone fans that go down there on a yearly basis, they'll remember the upset wins. But if you talk to them, they'll be like, oh my God, we were at this bar, we were at Power and Light, and we were just part of this pep rally. That's what they remember the most, and that's why they keep going back over and over again.
Travis, the meanest thing that I would say to those Iowa State fans is this: whether you would admit it or not, you don't go down there for the basketball. Whether you will admit it or not. Uh-oh, did I just cut out there? Is that me?
No,
must have been my headphones. Whether you will admit it or not, you only go not only. You go down there because of those things, because of the fun, because of the feeling, and I can prove it to you. The winning is cherry on top. The winning is the ice cream on top of the sundae, and I can prove that to you because you go every year. You are looking forward to going down there in October, and November and December, and in January when you're booking your hotel room and you're talking to your buddies and figuring out and you're making your plans. The basketball is secondary. It's almost, Travis, this is a great example. It's like those concerts.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to go to a party, and I'm going to hang out with my buddies. We're going to pretend we're on a beach. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Jimmy freaking Buffett's going to play a couple of songs for us. People go, well, you went to a Jimmy Buffett concert. I went to a party, and Jimmy Buffett played. I went to Kansas City for a party, and Iowa State was playing. And by the way, they won the Big 12 championship, or they consistently go down there and compete and win. But even in those years that they go down there and an upset happens and they get knocked out early, you're booking your trip for next year. You don't look
or
at
you're
it and
sticking
go,
around.
Yeah, right. You don't look at it and go, well, they didn't win it this year, so we're going to save our money and not go next year. No, it wasn't. I think I can prove it to every one of them. It's not about the basketball. The basketball is secondary, and I've said this many times. As a Hawkeye fan, incredibly jealous. I don't want to use jealous. Envious. because I'm happy for my Cyclone fan friends that they get to experience that. It's fun to see them get excited about getting down there and going to see their favorite team play again and have a chance of winning. But man, it is this routine thing that they get to do, Trav, that the Big Ten consistently does the money grab, constantly looking to move around and being a bigger and what's our best financial move to do. They don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a shit about that experience, that community that has been built through Iowa State and the Big 12 doing this. The Big 12's made some mistakes. No doubt about it.
Nobody's
Big
perfect.
12's, nobody's perfect. They've gone through some rough things. Through those rough patches, they've landed in some beautiful spots. Beautiful spots. And this basketball league is one of them.
That's why, and I get the Big 12 is sometimes talked about, do they want to rotate the Big 12 basketball tournament? And
No.
you look at you look through cyclone colored glasses and you say, why would you do that? You have Iowa State fans create an atmosphere for a tournament that very few. I got to be careful what I say here because we live on an island.
You're right, and you have a better exposure to this, Travis. It's not just Iowa State fans that do this, is it?
No, it's not. But it's not as many teams as you think that actually just take over a city and an area because that builds up over time. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. It's just like, oh, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Then somebody tells somebody else. Somebody tells somebody. It's network marketing. It is Amway at its finest. I mean, this is why network marketing works. Because you get back, you're like, oh, my God, we had the greatest time. Well, tell me about the games. No, I'm not going to tell you about the games. I'm going to tell you about Power and Light. Here's what we did, this. And then somebody else books a trip. And they go back and tell a friend. They're like, you're not going to believe this. If you like hanging out with Cyclone fans, forget the games. We're going to go party. And that's why I think this upcoming football trip to Ireland is so big because this creates an experience. People are going to go watch a football game. They're going to enjoy the football game, but they're going to remember Dublin. They're going to remember when they took over an area of Dublin and all the other places around. They're going to come back with those great stories. And in a couple of years when they do it again, they'll sell even more tickets and more trips.
Coach Hersom just wrote me and wants to know if we stopped taking calls while Travis is abroad. We had to stop taking calls because all of that software to do that exists at the home studio in Omaha.
Yes, we do apologize for that. It wasn't intended, but starting next Wednesday, we'll be taking phone calls again.
Dude, I'm not sure. Are you able to see the comment section at all?
Yes.
Did you see Mick's comment here? Going to see Kenny Chesney at the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh.
So, dude, talk about Kenny Chesney will be performing on a beach.
Literal, not a literal bitch. Bitch. I just said bitch. I said bitch, not beach. Not a literal, a virtual beach. And think about the Sphere. Are you going to leave going, oh my God, Kenny Chesney sounded great, or you two sounded great? You're going to leave going, that was the coolest thing I ever saw because of the experience the Sphere gave you. I'm into this experiential stuff big time now, and I'm just reminded of it while I'm sitting here. Everything we do is about the experience. You can go to, let's use El Bait Shop as an example. Let's use Absolute Garage. Let's use Willis Automotive. You may like the car, you may love the beer you drink, you might like the food, but you're probably going to remember the experience you had with your waitstaff. You're going to remember the experience you had with the person who sold you the car. When Absolute Garage comes in and redoes your closet or your garage, it's the experience you get with your garage once that stuff is remade. So it's all about experience. And Ross and I try to give you a good experience every morning because we know you're going to work every single day. We just want to make you laugh. There's a million radio shows on. We want to make you feel like you're having a great experience every morning. Bring you into our lives.
A guy that would be a great addition to this conversation is Bruno. He and I have had this conversation a bunch in Canada, sitting on an island, watching the Milky Way go over the top of your head, and you're sitting at a fire, and you're like having these amazing conversations with your buddies, and you go, yeah, this is what it's about, isn't it? I'm going to remember this. This is an experience. I'm glad we're here. Don't like being away from the family. Don't like, you know what I mean? I'm not celebrating any of that, but holy cow, I'm going to remember this forever.
Well, let's use the Camino you went on about a
God.
year ago. You could have walked 150 miles you could have done a Camino here.
I had buddies try to convince me not to go to Portugal, just walk to Iowa City.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
No. Imagine how boring of a walk that would be. I love Iowa. Imagine once you got east of Newton on foot.
Well, there's the Lion's Den. I'm going to go to the Lion's Den.
Maybe I get a cafe con leche at the Lion's Den. They can get me.
It's crazy. So, I mean, yeah, it's what... And I think Mick, who wrote that, is great at creating experiences for him and his wife because they have the Jeep, they go four-wheeling, they go to these amazing places, and they happen to see concerts along the way. So...
And smiling the whole time. You see pictures of them, and they're exuding happiness. It's neat to see. I'm very happy for Mick. Very happy for him.
So the lesson we're trying to teach here, everybody, is it's not the event you're going to. It's not the destination. It's the journey. Who had that quote? It's not
Aerosmith.
The destination.
Life's
it's
a journey, not a destination. And how high can you fly with broken wings?
See, there you go. You are a quote machine. See, you just have lyrics down.
Yeah, the pedophile Steven Tyler just laid it out there for me. I just had to repeat it.
The pedophile Steven Tyler.
He was. You know that story, right? He got a mom and dad to basically sign over custody of their teenage daughter to him so that he could take her on tour when they were dating. Do you know that story, Trav? That's a real story about Steven Tyler.
Really?
Yeah. I think the girl was like 14 or 15 too. I'll check it out. I'll get the details for you. I'll see what the internet says about Steven Tyler. Alleged.
Yeah, make sure. I got to go back and retract the story I told on Monday about the mob story. There's some. I forgot to use alleged. There was a murder that happened, but the family involved was. Well, I just got to. I'm going to retract the story.
Okay, all right. Retraction and the verbal retraction.
I'm going to retract the story. Is what I'm going to do.
Okay. I don't know. Internet says I might be full of crap. So I'll retract my comments as well until further.
We're in retraction mode today.
I mean, I said all that horrible stuff about Elvis a couple weeks ago, pissed off everybody. So. Sure, throw Aerosmith into it too. Why not?
Man,
Trav, I did mention this to you before, like about an hour ago, maybe more now. I said to you, did you see these? Because Justin and I talked about this at the end of the show yesterday, but people are bringing it up in the chat because they want your response to it. These Major League Baseball hats that came out, where they combined the logos. They basically took like part of the they took the primary logo of the hat and then put either like let me go see if I can find some of them here for you. They put like New York behind the NY, or Yankees in bold behind the NY, or like the Tampa Bay, it says Rays in the background, right? You get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Well, some of them they all look awful. They all look awful, but some of them look hilarious. Okay. Like the one that says Angels, and there's an A in the middle for the Angels logo is the big A, and then it has Angels behind it. Well, that big A covers the G. Okay? So instead of it saying ANGLES, it says ANALES. ANALES. Travis, ANAL.
Anals.
Texas has their giant T right in the middle, over the top of the X. So it reads Titas.
Tatas.
That's Spanish for titties.
Oh, man.
Have you ever seen, the socks? Remember when the White Sox had the kind of calligraphy thing with the SOX and it kind of went at a diagonal? You could cover over a little tiny part of the O and it turned into sex.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like a good idea until you implement it, and then you're like, oh. Hey, Ross, I'm going to disappear for a little bit. So when we take a break, and then you'll see me shortly.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant right now. I was like, yeah, man, I'll just chat for a while.
No. When we take a break, I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to come back. It is the Rush
JB.
Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I did fail Spanish class. Sorry.
Okay. At therushradio.com.
March is a perfect time to buy at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. Drive home with low lease payments and special financing options for 2025 Equinox and Traverses. 2.9% APR for 72 months plus up to $7,500 in federal tax credits for eligible buyers. 2025 Equinox EVs and Blazers EVs. At Willis Chevrolet of Granger, we're here to make your car buying experience easy, stress-free, and friendly. Stop by today or visit us online to lock in these savings before they're gone.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage and Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage and Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage and Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hi, I'm Steve Ollinger, Service Director here at Willis Nissan. On February 12th, the Iowa State Patrol reported over 170 accidents during the snowstorm. This month, February through April 30th, we are offering purchase 3 tires and get the 4th for $1 to keep you safe on the roads. Go to willisnissan.com to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome back to the RushRadio.com.
Oh, that sounds so much better. Yes. Yes.
Sounds better.
Oh. Good job. Good work. What hit your brain?
My son hit my brain. Because my son is he can problem solve and I can't.
Yeah. Our troubleshooting skills as we get older are really fading, dude.
They're really, really fading bad.
You know why? Because there's no daisy chain anymore. There's no when we were. We're gonna get way in the nerdy weeds here for a second.
That's fine.
When we were kids and we were taught audio production, and there was a daisy chain, meaning I talk into this microphone, it goes through this cord into a board. That board then processes the audio, has a cord that goes into a speaker. So you can troubleshoot it the whole way. Go, okay, is this microphone working? Is this cord working? Now we live in a world where it's like, it doesn't work. Did you turn it off?
Owen reminded me on this.
Off and you didn't turn it on, it didn't work, then you need to buy something new.
Owen reminded me on this computer, because at home I work differently. On this computer, I needed to be on Firefox and not Chrome.
Oh, Owen.
And, I can't tell in my headset because all I'm hearing is my regular voice, and that's why,
And honestly,
now,
all day Monday, I just thought Travis was in it. I was like, he's just in a room where the sound is bouncing around, and that's what we're hearing. And then this morning we fired up. Travis like, man, I don't like the way that sounded Monday. We're going to figure this out. And, of course, we were both idiots. Well, is your microphone on?
Oh, it was on. It was just not going through the right input. So Ross, what I'm going to have you do is bring me down a little bit. Not on the voice meter.
I had you jacked up on the voice meter there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can bring me down a little bit.
Okay, there we go. How are you now?
Yeah. I think yeah. I'm just
feels better to me.
Okay. We're trying to balance it out. It's the balance of life, right? But at least I don't sound like I'm on a computer audio anymore, or at least hope not.
Yeah. You don't. You sound good. Thank you so much.
No. Thank Owen. Thank Owen, who's rolling his eyes right now, going, "I'm sick and tired of bailing my dad out." He gets sick and tired of bailing me out.
I know, Owen. I'm sure the hand holding has gotten old here. I apologize, buddy. Thank you. We love you.
Big 12 tournament starts today, or it's already started. You had Cincinnati beat Oklahoma State last night. The Bearcats will play Iowa State at 11:30 today. A lot of people, this was the talk of the women's tournament. I saw Chris Hassel and Chris Williams talk about this. It's going to get more attention in the men's tournament because just naturally more people are going to watch the men's tournament than they did the women's tournament. Nothing against the women's tournament. It's just the way it is. More people are going to watch the men's tournament. You're going to see a court today that has a lot of Big 12 logos on it, right?
Dude,
Ross, have you
hideous. It's hideous.
See, I don't even notice it. I don't
know. I mean, I notice it. I notice any court that's not just wood. Remember when Oregon had the whole forest on the court?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. And I don't know why. It's like it's almost distracting. But the Big 12 court, man, as it pans back and forth, my eyes go wonky. I turn into Eugene Levy all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I can't see nothing.
I wonder, because this shows you how eyes are different. Because when I see it, like when they're going up and down the court just becomes gray to me. I don't even notice the Big 12 logos. It just looks like a gray court to me in motion. I don't notice the Big 12 logos until it's like a static shot and nobody's moving. And then I'm like, oh, those are Big 12 logos. It's interesting how all these courts have just become like marketing machines. Like how wild. I like the Big 12 court more than I like the NBA midseason tournament courts that are just these bright colors and totally wonky. You're like, man, what is that? That's more distracting to me.
Yeah, and I would say they're 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other on my end. It is. I really do think, Trav, it just goes back to, have you done something? Is there some design on the court? It distracts my eyes. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I'm with Tony here. I want to show Tony's comment because this is exactly how I feel. I feel a seizure coming on when I look at it. It feels like my eyes start to vibrate. I'm like, oh, I don't like it.
Have you ever been at the mall? Remember at the mall, you go to like Valley West, you go to Jordan Creek, and you would go to one of those art stores. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where they're like
mall rats. Of course, I know what you're talking. I knew exactly where you were going. I've seen mall rats.
You stare into the photo to find an optical illusion, and I have a feeling people are just going to be like, okay, find the Big 11. Don't find the Big 12. It's like one of those is going to be like missing one of the Roman numerals.
If you stare at the court long enough, the Texas and Oklahoma logos pop out at you. The movie Mallrats. Do you not that you might have that might be a generational thing where it's just you were just old enough not to give a crap about Mallrats.
Was that a Kevin Smith movie?
Yes. Yep. And it was about that era when everybody hung out at the mall. And Travis, this is one of those magic eye things. That's what thank you, Nathan, for telling that. Remember, they were called the magic eye. They'd just be a blurry picture. And if you stared there and kind of like let your eyes do the right thing of unfocusing somehow, a sailboat would pop out at you. You know what I mean? And so in the movie, there's this one particular guy. He can't get it to work. He can't see the picture. So he decides one day he's going to spend all damn day staring at this photo until that sailboat pops out at him. Okay? And he stands there all day and looks at him. Throughout the movie, they keep going back to him, and he's just staring at this picture and staring at this picture. And eventually, towards the end of the movie, this little girl, they're on like a field trip or something. This little girl walks up to it. She glances at it, and she goes, "Oh, look, a schooner." And this guy goes, "You stupid little girl. It's a sailboat, not a schooner." And she goes, "A schooner is a sailboat." And he goes nuts. He just destroys it.
So if that was Kevin Smith, that would have been like the first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob.
The second, Clerks, is their first one.
Oh.
The all black and white movie. Jay and Silent Bob, and Silent Bob truly is silent throughout the whole movie. In Mallrats, he actually speaks at the end, and you find out he's a genius.
My favorite movie with Jay and Silent Bob was Dogma. You remember Dogma?
I loved Dogma. I thought that movie was so fun. Great cast. I think having a little bit of religious knowledge, a little bit of maybe even maybe your Catholic upbringing probably helped a lot with that movie because there's a lot of Catholic stuff in there. But I like Dogma a lot.
George Carlin, Thumbs Up Jesus.
Oh, I forgot about. Dude, that's an amazing cast on that movie. Chris Rock is in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, plays a pretty big role. The most important role.
Alanis Morissette was in it.
Oh, she plays the most important role.
Yes, she does.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've seen Mallrats. Because you're right, it was one of those. It was one of those generational things. Look at the Don Mattingly. Ross is drinking out of a Don Mattingly coffee mug.
Got the Core Power fueling up here in the coffee today. The Core Power has been a game changer. It's fantastic. Love the stuff.
That's from Atlantic Coca-Cola bottling, and Ross is either drinking like 46 grams of protein in the morning or 26. He bounces back and forth just on the amount of power that he needs.
I'm down to the 26ers because I've powered through the 42s. So,
I mean, if you've gone all the way through those, that means you love yourself.
I'm telling you, dude. Every day I'm drinking one. It's been fantastic.
But Iowa State plays Cincinnati, and Brett Yormark he was doing a news conference about the court yesterday, and he said, well, Iowa State just got done practicing, and they said they loved it. Well, what are they going to tell the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference?
Exactly.
Are they going to say it's hideous? And the truth is, you may not even know. Playing on it and seeing it from a wide angle are two different things. And watching it on TV and probably watching it in person are two different things. Probably messes with your head more watching it on TV because the camera's going back and forth and giving it the effect that could give you a seizure.
My buddy Ryan Grove goes down every year, and he was sending us photos. He is sitting close enough to the court that he it doesn't bother him at all because that's everybody in the group chat goes like, dude, how's the court in person? And he says, I'm sitting low enough that I don't even see it. Not to brag on my friend's status, but he's a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big
deal. When it comes to stuff like this. And it's big in sports. You're always looking. Sports probably, is a marketing machine. You go from the uniforms. Jamie Pollard. How many times does he have to answer questions about why are you wearing black uniforms? Why are you wearing all white uniforms? It's marketing. It's the fact that you're talking about it is the reason they're doing it. You're talking about, even if you don't like it. Now, my personal preference, the reason I love Iowa's uniforms, and you remember when Steve Oliver came in and he wanted to change the Tiger Hawk, wanted to make the Tiger Hawk look more fierce.
Yeah.
And people were like, no. I'm a simplistic guy. I like Penn State's uniforms. I like Alabama's uniforms. I like Iowa's uniforms because it's what I grew up with. It's traditional. It's simple. It makes a statement without making a statement. Not everybody can do that. I appreciate what Oregon does because that's Oregon's brand. I mean, Oregon built an entire brand off of
on being odd, different, offbeat, whatever you want to use, on constantly changing that image. Let me ask you one, Travis, and I don't have an opinion on it. I'm going to use this as a barometer of of what's actually important to you. How do you feel about Michigan?
To me, that's tradition. Right,
that's what I was getting at. Exactly what you cut me off there. Yeah,
the helmet that Michigan wears, and this is football. They've done some different stuff in basketball, but we all tend to relate most. If you were to ask somebody about a university, you rarely go basketball uniform, basketball court. You'll go football uniform, football helmet, probably more than even a jersey or pants. Right?
I agree. Yeah,
the helmet is what you remember. Michigan is the helmet I grew up with. Ohio State is the helmet I grew up with. It wasn't a different helmet all the time. And so
and Travis, did Ohio State always do the Buckeye sticker thing?
Yes, as far as I can remember, yeah.
That's as long as I remember. I asked about Michigan because that is it's loud. We all see it as traditional because they were the very first ones to do it. They were the very first ones to say, all right, when our receivers are running down the field, they'll be the ones with the gold things on their helmet. And that's why they did it. And I'm with you. I wanted to ask about that because that was going to be my indication of, do you like tradition or do you like simple? And I think because Michigan's is not simple. A lot of people would go, well, yes, it is. No, you're just familiar with it.
So does tradition become simple? Like in that case?
Let me go. I hate to do
Or is
this.
it the other way?
I'd flip it around. Simple becomes tradition. If you stick with it. If the Yankees had ever changed their logo, we would we wouldn't be. But you stick with it. You say, all right, we're going to take that. And again, is the Yankees logo simple? Not really. Not really simple. It's there's some neat stuff going on there, but they've stuck with it. It's never changed. The pinstripes always there. The no names on the jerseys. They've stuck with tradition, and then you go, yeah, this is classic.
I mean, the Yankees logo has become so traditional that I do believe it's the unofficial logo of the city of New York and maybe the state. Ross, I walk around the streets of Florence, Italy, and I see more Yankee hats than any other hat that I see. But I'm like, are they weird? Are they really Yankee fans? Or are they like, I visited New York, and this is like the symbol of New York?
This is what you do to show, yeah.
You know, the Dodgers are like that. The script Dodgers that goes across their – they've had that since Brooklyn.
Travis, I met a guy from Denmark who spoke broken English wearing a Dodgers hat because he'd been to L.A. about a year ago, and what did he do when he was in L.A.? He bought the blue hat with the white L.A. on. I don't think he knew who the Dodgers were.
And I think, the I-State, and look what we've all seen Iowa State in our lifetime from a brand's perspective.
Good point.
They've never had a brand that stuck from a marketing standpoint, from a uniform standpoint. They've never had something that just stuck. When I first started covering Iowa State back in the early 90s, well, hell, I was going to games during the Jim Kreiner days, and then the Jim Walden days, and then the Dan McCarney days, and then the Gene Chis. I mean, there's been some overlap there, but it seems like every coach has changed the brand. They went to the I-State, and you almost wonder if they regret that now because they're going back to the old Cyclone, on the helmets.
They should, because I-State means nothing. It represents nothing. The Cyclone is unique. The Cyclone is their version of the Hawkeye. It's yours. No, it doesn't make sense to be the Florida Tornadoes, right?
Yeah.
You got to be the Hurricanes down there. You have locked on to something that is uniquely yours. And that is the Cyclone name. Embrace that logo. That's what I mean, again, if the marketing side of me says that's your unique angle, run with that. And make that the thing that you dedicate yourself to for the next 30 years and see. Because I think I love the, again, not a Cyclone fan. I like the yellow with the red tornado.
Okay. On the helmet, you mean?
On the helmet. Yeah, again, but I think that the tornado is the thing to go with. That's the logo to go with. Cyclone fans might not agree with that. And I'd also say, get rid of your stupid chicken, please.
You're not a big Cy fan? Not a big Cy fan?
Well, see, we did that because we used to be the Iowa State School of Education, and we were the Cardinals at that time. And so we keep the Cardinal as a tradition. You changed the freaking name. Never mind. I'm not angry about it.
Now, like when Iowa State takes the court today against Cincinnati, I don't care what uniforms they're wearing. And I don't care what uniform. I will say this. There's only been like one Iowa uniform that I'm like, oh, that's really good. I like, and it's just the Tiger Hawk right here. They have it, I think, in a gray.
Yeah.
And they have
I
thought
thought you were going to say, dude.
In a yellow. That's and I don't know what it is, because the Tiger Hawk to me is the University of Iowa. It's not Herky fighting. It's not the cursive old, Iowa. To me, the Tiger Hawk represents the entire university. And
I like
to me,
that,
that's simple.
But you do realize that kind of flies in the face of your liking tradition
It does.
thing. That's kind of cool.
It does.
I do like the gold with the black cursive. But
okay.
But as soon as you said that one with the Tiger Hawk right here, I went, oh yeah, I kind of like that one too. Chris is right. Nailed it here. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he says winning creates tradition. In a way, it does. Right? I guess what's your definition of winning? Because winning could be a couple of different things. Meaning, being competitive or just being consistent?
Here's what I think the long form of that is, Trav. Like, you get fans, Cyclones wearing black in football. You have fans that are tracking the record for how they do in black uniforms, right? When we wear all black, this is our record. I think Chris is on to something there where when you wear, if they were wearing black uniforms and they were undefeated in it, think of how excited they would be for those black, so winning builds that excitement slowly. That excitement is what locks in those emotions around it, and that's what then leads to tradition. Chris is right. You can't lose and you're not going to be proud of some tradition where it's not winning. And quite frankly, Trav, now that I'm saying this out loud, maybe that's why Cyclone fans are not as crazy about the tornado as I am. Because they see the tornado and they go, God, that reminds me of the early 80s. I don't want to go back to that time when we were playing on the turf in a glorified high school stadium. Let's live now where we're an ass kicker and we're fighting for playoff spots in this sweet place. Let's not go back. So I could see now that I'm kind of thinking about it out loud. I can see Cyclone fans saying, "Nah, you're grabbing onto something that we didn't care about because the tradition was not winning."
So let me ask you this: why do we not care? And I say we, collective as a fan base. Why do we not care what uniforms the basketball team wears, but we really care what the football team wears? Because the basketball team has multiple uniforms, but nobody ever goes, "Did you see the unis they're wearing tonight?" I don't know if the locker room people put out, you'd always have, "Hey, here's what we're wearing this weekend." Basketball, you come out and you're like, "Oh, that's a different look. I haven't seen that before. That's pretty cool." We don't do it with basketball.
I'm gonna guess here. Okay, I have a psychological thing in my head. We see the basketball players' faces.
Ooh,
is that?
No, you bring up a good point. Chris also said basketball is way more games. Football is glorified as this one time a week.
That's a good point too, Chris. That's a good point. You spend all week looking forward to that Saturday matchup. You spend a couple of days remembering the Saturday game. That's a good point. My gut tells me that Like when I think about Troy Davis, you see Troy Davis in a uniform. If I say think about Roy Marble, you see Roy Marble's face. If I
you see the emotion, you see everything.
Yeah. With the football player, I see, with rare exception,
you see a gladiator.
Yeah.
That is
I don't know. I'm just
I
guessing.
think you're onto something, Ross. Because why is it that helmets mean more than anything? I mean, we always go to the helmet.
We just did, didn't we?
Yes. 20 minutes ago, we went to the helmet and goes, do we really care about the jerseys and the pants? It's all the headwear. You don't have headwear in basketball, so you got a jersey. The shorts change with fashion. I mean, when I was growing up, your left nut was hanging out because they were that high and tight. You're like, God, I got to tuck that thing back in. Then they went full, Fab Five, where they went past your knees, where you're like wearing 3/4 inch or 3/4 length pants. Yeah. Now they've kind of shot back up again. But you're just like, okay, it just goes with the fashionable times. The football uniform, in most cases, hasn't changed over time. The pads have gotten smaller. Guys don't wear the thigh pads and hip pads as much as they used to, but the pants are pretty much the same. The jerseys are the same. And the helmets, the inside have changed, but the outside is like, okay. But that's what we connect to.
There's some things that are just universal, and Chris nails on one of them. Now we can all thank God that we've never seen Travis play basketball.
I took a picture.
There are universal truths in this world. Chris just touched on one of them.
I need to find it.
We've never seen Travis's nuts.
I need to find it and share it. There was
what?
Oh yes. Oh, there's a picture out there, and it's me from 7th or 8th grade, where I was trying to get fancy with my individual junior high basketball photo. So I got up, and the shorts are short shorts. I mean short shorts. And then I got up to make it look like I was dunking the basketball, right? But the photographer,
7th grade?
yeah, 7th or 8th grade. But the photographer's shooting up because the photographer's not going to try to get even with me. And let me tell you, it's an optical illusion, and angles mean everything. But it made me look like I had a package. A good size package.
Was that the photo that you were giving to Anjanette as you were, hey, just so you know what you might be missing out on here?
You want me to sign the card for you? I can have this made into a basketball card. I think it's on Donruss or Fleer, first edition. I'm going to have to go find that because it's out there somewhere.
I didn't want to see the photo, but no, I want to see it. I'm not going to.
And I had forgotten about that photo for the last 40 years of my life until this conversation comes up, and you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make it look like I was a 5'9" at that time 5'9". I am about 6 foot now, maybe shrinking because I'm getting older. That I could dunk. Like somebody's really going to believe that a junior high kid can dunk. He's got short shorts on.
Have you guys heard about this?
Really short.
Have you guys heard about this 5'6" white kid from Minden who's throwing down?
And he's got a package. You should see this.
Nobody takes a charge. Nobody. They're afraid he's just going to fly right into him.
I'm gonna walk. Yeah, I'm not gonna cover up. I'm gonna spread eagle for you.
Did you see Giannis jump over a dude's head the other night and dunk on him?
No. Did he teabag him?
Dude, if that guy doesn't have a bruise on his forehead, a mushroom stamp right there from Giannis flying over the top of him. Same thing. Remember when? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize Abigail was listening.
I know. I just realized my daughter's listening to shows. I'm talking about, my male parts. And all she says is, you're not 6 foot tall. I'm 5'11"3/4. I round up. That makes me 6 foot tall. Just saying.
That happened to a friend of mine in high school, Travis. There was a kid that went to North that was a crazy good athlete. His name was Glenn Phillips in the mid-'90s. Glenn was an amazing football player and a fantastic basketball player. And one of my buddies who ended up playing at UNI and was a really good football player, a fantastic athlete on his own, but he was a shorter guy. and a really good basketball player, but a point guard. Okay.
Okay.
Playing at North, something happens. Glenn Phillips gets a breakaway, and he's racing down the court. And my buddy Aaron flies down into the lane, stands in the lane. He's ready to take a charge, and Glenn Phillips does the Vince Carter, literally jumps over the top of my buddy. Spread eagle, right over the top of him, dunks the ball. The place goes insane. It's the first time I ever saw that live in person. And I can remember our buddy Aaron like, that was unbelievable. I'm standing there to take a charge. All the dude just flew right over the top of me. Did you just sniff? Have you ever seen P. Diddy doing that at the slam dunk contest? At the slam dunk contest, a dude one time, I'm going to screw up who it was, so I won't even guess. A dude jumped over the top of P. Diddy. He had P. Diddy stand there and hold a ball like this. And the dude jumped over the top of him, grabbed the ball, and dunked it. And when you watch the slow motion video of it, P. Diddy gets on his, tips his nose up and gets on his tiptoes.
Oh, we got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go.
We got more stuff to do. Sorry.
Once we got back on track, it's been the show you've come to expect. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushladio.com.
Spring is coming up, and it's a time for cleaning and renewal. Get your spring cleaning started early with a fuel induction service from Willis Volvo Cars. This service cleans out carbon buildup and other deposits from the fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chambers. This service can provide fuel efficiency, performance, and power to make sure your Volvo is ready for spring and summer travel. Right now, we are offering 10% off a fuel induction service, so give us a call or head online to willisvolvocars.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I
if
keep
you
forgetting to
are,
take this thing down here.
yeah,
Sorry,
you do.
Trav.
It's okay. It's okay. If you're listening on the stream this morning, good to have you along. A lot of people streaming on your way to work, listening in your car, listening on your computer. That's awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Also, set up those notifications. You can follow us on X. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Again, Iowa State plays Cincinnati at 11:30. It's a game that Iowa State should win. It is. They beat them earlier this season. Do you like this? Do you like or not like the fact that Iowa State's had that extra day's rest because Cincinnati played yesterday? I look at like Valpo and Northern Iowa, right? Valpo had that win, goes into that quarterfinal round or the semifinal round, and just kind of took it to Northern Iowa, and I go, God, did playing that extra game, did getting your legs fresh, I mean, just playing a game, getting used to the atmosphere, how advantageous is that, right? And Iowa State hasn't played since Saturday, I think it is. Or am I reading way too much? Am I overthinking this?
I don't know, Trav. We will find out, and that will be, this. It's almost like a built-in excuse in a way. And I'm not trying to say that as an Iowa State fan. I just mean for any team that's looking at this, for you and I, when you have when you have more time off than the other team, I would really be interested to know what the actual science behind it. Because man, we've got enough of a sample size there that we should be able to know exactly who benefits from something like this, and in which sport, how that changes. How much time off is good time off? How much is bad? My gut says at this point in the season, as familiar as you are with these opponents and as tired as your legs were at the end of the regular season, that extra time off, that's why they build that in. That's why it's a reward for winning.
Yes.
Those extra days in basketball, you can still stay sharp. It's not quite like football where, you're not out there going 100% some days in practice, and so then you could lose a little bit of that sharpness. In basketball, I feel like it's easier to replicate that. You can spend a couple of days not going 100%. You can spend a couple of days playing full scrimmage, and then you know who your opponent is, and then you get to sharpen for those specific things that you want to work on against that team. I think it is an advantage to have this extra day off. You're not on tired legs. Now, again, they come out, they're red hot. They go up 15-0. Then you look at it and go, damn, they carried that momentum over. Good on them. Nothing you can do about that. You just got to come out and play well and be ready to go.
Yeah, an 11:30 tip-off today. Again, Iowa State taking on Cincinnati. Iowa's going to be in action tonight. I believe it starts at 5 o'clock, taking on Ohio State. One of those play-in games, should we say, as Ohio State playing for an NCAA tournament bid, possibly. Ross, a lot on here. Iowa coming off that win against Nebraska. We all wondering, can Iowa, which we know has talent, we know they can score, right? I mean, this team has put up points all year long, but hasn't been the best defensively, and will go on spurts to where you're just like, it's frustrating. But I think we're all wondering, it's that jaded relationship. And use the Michael Corleone line. Just as soon as I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
That's what this felt like against Nebraska, didn't it? And dude, again, I bring it up. I feel like that Michigan State game was the start of it. I watched that Michigan State game, and I'm like, man, they're playing against one of the best teams. They're playing against a really good basketball team, one of the best teams in the Big Ten, certainly. And
I mean, you're talking about a team that won the Big Ten, will probably be a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. So I think you're okay to say one of the best teams in the country.
One of the best teams in the nation. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I stopped myself because I'm not sure about that with this Michigan State team, but especially that day against Iowa, they didn't look like one of the best teams in the country, and Iowa was a better team than them for 10, 15 minutes of that game. And that's the thing that sucks you back in, man.
Until Michigan State scored 61 in the second half. Then you're like, oh. Now, we got to give credit where credit's due, and I'm going to give credit to the Cedar Rapids Gazette. I don't know if you saw the story yesterday, Ross, but the Cedar Rapids Gazette went ahead and did a FOIA request. That's a Freedom of Information request. And it turns out we were lied to all year long by the University of Iowa. Because when they put the attendance on the box score, they went ahead and basically paid attendance. Well, Cedar Rapids Gazette, and some great reporting, which anybody could have done, they just went ahead and did the FOIA request, got the tickets scanned report. Tickets scanned. Ross, over 18 games at Carver Hawkeye Arena, they averaged just over 5,000 tickets scanned.
Which, Travis, yes. Yeah. We all watched that. Man, that's that thing of don't let your eyes lie to you. We do this so often. We see something and we go, man, it looks like there's 5,000 people there. Well, it's the arena. You're getting confused. See, you guys, it's so cavernous in there that when 9,000 people show up, you go, wait, there's 9,000 people here? Because I watch the game on TV and you can count the people. You can count the people in the background. And when it pans back, the upper half is dotted with folks. Most of us have been in Carver Hawkeye Arena in the last couple of years and know exactly what I'm talking about. You walk in and you think you're early. You're like, isn't tip-off in like 10 minutes? Where is everybody? Late arrivers. No, non-arrivers. And then to pump up those numbers like that, Travis, to pump them up like that, I get the tickets sold thing, the announced attendance. I will tell you about the biggest scam I was ever a part of was with the Des Moines Menace back in the day. When the Menace used to get about 100 people that would show up for the game, I did their announcing one year. For a couple years, I would go out there and help out with them. I loved working with the guys. This is not a knock at all on the current Menace, the people that work there, nothing. Even the people that worked at the time, they were doing what they had to do. The playoff seeding for home field advantage was based on home attendance in the league at that time.
So you invited corruption at that point.
If you made the playoffs, the home team was the team that had the largest draw. Well, guess which team was owned by a millionaire that could buy a whole bunch of tickets?
The Des Moines Menace.
I would go, Travis, and call these games. I would be the announcer for the game. There'd be 100 people there, and you'd have to announce the attendance. It was a laugh line. Because I'd have to say, tonight's paid attendance, 743. People would laugh at it. They'd be like, oh, man, Rodney Dangerfield up there trying to do comedy bits. No, the owner of the team bought tickets from himself so that he could have a home field advantage when the playoffs came. That was it. That was what they were doing.
Tank 28 says, let's do Nebraska football now. And I don't disagree with what Tank is saying here.
Exactly.
But I will say there's a difference between Iowa basketball and Nebraska football.
Yes.
Because
big time.
And because it wasn't – Memorial Stadium has never been half full or less than half full. It was probably 3/4 full to 9/10 full, right? I don't get me wrong. I agree with you that the sellout streak is kind of a farce, that people didn't go to the games. Those tickets were sold. I get that. But you would go to a game, and it was still a pretty packed stadium, right? I mean, they'd gone to like 90-some thousand, and they had like 85 in there. It's noticeable, but not like Carver Hawkeye where you go, oh,
you're still talking about on the bad days. You're still talking about 90% capacity where they had to fudge 10%. What if these numbers are real? You're talking about almost 100%. Where 5,000 people scanned tickets and you claimed 9,000 came through the door. It's different. Tony is right. The sellout or Tank, I'm sorry, was right. The sellout streak at Nebraska is something we all laugh at.
Yes.
Nebraska would do themselves a favor by allowing that thing to die and stop it with this charade, because we all know it's a farce. Even when they get back to selling out 100%, which they will do, and they may have done already, we all know it's a lie. So give it up. Quit trying to force it down our throat. That's what I would say to the Nebraska folks. But this is different. And what's the point of it, Travis? What's the point of fluffing those numbers? Do you think that by telling people, hey, 10,000 people are showing up, people in Des Moines are more likely to go, you know what? I'm going to let my eyes lie to me. That basketball team is more fun to watch than what I'm seeing on TV. And if 10,000 people are going, then damn it, we're going to go too. Well, then they get over there and they look around and go, ain't 10,000 people here. It might be 4.
This is where we're going to sound like we might be talking out of both sides of our mouths. Because if you go back to hour number 1, we spent a lot of time on experience. We talked about Iowa State fans going down to Kansas City, being part of that experience. And you're going to go, because the Iowa Athletic Department said, we understand we've got an experience problem. We've got to find students get more engaged. But here's the deal. Especially when you're talking about home games, you have to win, too. I mean, there is where, because you're going to a different city in Kansas City, you're part of just something different, right? It's like, oh, we're making plans to go to Kansas City for the Big 12 basketball tournament. We're going for the party. When you have 18 home games, you're going for both the experience. Hilton Magic, let's use Hilton Magic as an example, but Hilton Magic wouldn't be Hilton Magic if they didn't win basketball games, right? It would be like, oh, we're losing the magic, and the magic would dissipate.
Trav, there's proof. The year Steve Prohm didn't win a Big 12 game. You're nailing it here. Winning, it's that soup. Winning's a big ingredient. Winning's a really big ingredient. I think in a way, I don't think we're talking out of both sides of our mouth. I think this is a compendium conversation to the one we had in the first hour about experience. It's not a fun experience to go to Iowa basketball games. It's not. Dude, I've been to a handful of games inside of Hilton, and I never had thought about this. I can tell you some of the halftime shows I've seen at Hilton. I can't tell you a single halftime show I've ever seen at Carver, and I've been to 3 times as many games at Carver. I used to go over there when Luka was, when Luka and the Murray twins were on the team, and you did get 10, 12, the place was packed to the gills, beating Michigan. It's not the same experience. That's the right word for it. Especially when the team is losing, especially the no energy around the thing. I'm glad they did the FOIA request. And I saw somebody, Tony wrote, said Doctorman has been doing the same thing. He got onto the scan ticket conversation as well, went through old paper records. Here, I'll show Tony's comment here. It says Doctorman's been on the scan thing as well. Went through old paper records somehow for Licklider, actual butts in seats. That is even lower, according to Chris Hassel put out a post yesterday with some of those numbers. But even Chris's numbers, Tony, were off because Chris had that 9,000 number in his tweet.
But there was only 3 games where they were matched up. I think it was like Iowa State, Wisconsin, and one other game where they just kind of matched up. The women had many more, and think about the USC game that the women had. That was an incredible experience. Every Caitlin Clark game last year, you got the experience of a basketball game. You got the experience of Caitlin Clark. But we bring this up because Brad McCaffrey's playing today. And I know he said, hey, we may be in the NIT, we may be in that new Crown tournament. But when you look at the financial situation of Iowa basketball, and you only have 5,000 people at a game, and Ross, you brought it up the other day, I think when we were talking, is it going to change next year?
It'll go down.
This was 12% less than a year ago. So last year, they lost 12% on this year. If you lose another 12%, that is a financial hit, not just in tickets, but in think about your concessions of having 14,500 as opposed to 5,000. You do a budget yearly based on what you expect your concessions to be. You don't go, we're going to take concessions out of the line item. That's all part of your revenue. It's crazy. And that's why you have to look. Apathy. You're not really making money. Is it going to change? And that's a big reason. And we'll use Fred Hoiberg. People are still going to Nebraska basketball games for some reason. The fact that they're putting butts in seats at Pinnacle Bank Arena is probably the reason he's going to continue to keep his job for one more year. Danny Hurley at Arizona State, we found, is going to keep his job or is expected to stay at Arizona State. or Bobby Hurley. Sorry, I said Danny. He's at UConn. Bobby Hurley,
Danny's the
who
greatest
has
coach
not
in the
really.
country.
Just ask him. But Bobby Hurley, if he wasn't Bobby Hurley, I think in most cases the guy would be fired based on the actual ability to play. Now, they may say, well, it's your first year in the Big 12. You had to, but the truth is he's been average at best at Arizona State. I haven't looked to see how many butts they're putting in the seats, but probably not enough to go, it's time to make a change. The only reason, sorry, I didn't mean to catch up, but the only reason Fran McCaffrey will lose his job, it's going to be because there's just people don't want to come anymore. Sure, he's got a winning record. He's the all-time winningest coach, but you just hit this point where there's not excitement in the program. That's the reason.
Let Jason ask you a question here.
Okay.
Will a new coach change that?
In the short term, yes, it will. It will, just because a new coach is always a jolt of energy when it comes to a program. You're reselling hope. You use the right word, Ross. You are reselling hope, and that something's going to change, and our curiosity in sports will always get the best of us. We're going to go, hey, let's go check something out new. It's a new car on a showroom floor. We're going to go test drive this thing.
Boy. Does Ben McCollum? I think you're right. Any new coach, any new name is going to get a more hope. You're going to at least bottom this attendance thing out and start to take the ship in the other direction. I do believe that. What name gives the most energy to this program? Darren DeVries.
I think it's Darren DeVries. I think Ben McCollum would, just based on his success at Drake this year, but not to the level. Yes, I would agree with that 100%. I think Darren plays a little different style of basketball, more up tempo.
I just think it's and Ben is climbing again. A year ago, I didn't know who Ben McCollum was.
Neither did I.
So he has had this meteoric rise up to that number 2 spot, and maybe it's even possible. I mean, hell, make a run in this NCAA tournament, and you might even flip that. I mean, if Drake wins, if Drake gets a 10 seed and ends up being, or a 12 seed or whatever, and ends up making it to the Sweet 16, dude, Hawkeye fans are going to go, oh, this guy can win like that?
Let me throw another one out there for you.
Okay.
And this is out of nowhere.
You're going to say Rick Pitino, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to say Rick Pitino. Jeff Goodman brought him up last week as we were talking about the Indiana job. Would Greg McDermott leave Creighton for Iowa?
Oh, wow.
And his style of play that he had at Iowa State is completely, it's the let it fly. We're talking, it is nonstop. And he finished second in the Big East. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, if Indiana's going to call Greg McDermott, why wouldn't Beth Getz? A lot of people say Creighton's a much better job, honestly, and it is. Creighton is a better job.
It is. JT's absolutely right. Creighton's a better job. This, to me, that all not quite as a disparity, but when I heard, TJ might go to Indiana, I'm like, why would he do that? And there's a part of me that says, why would Creighton? Again, I don't see it as much. Iowa State is putting themselves in that premier program conversation, constantly being talked about as a 1, 2, 3 seed over the last couple of years. That's pretty rare air. Indiana's a long ways from that. But Creighton and Iowa, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that.
I mean, Creighton averages 17,800 a game. I mean,
and again, I like McDermott. None of these guys are Mike Krzyzewski. None of these names are guys that you're going to say, hey, we hired this dude, and tomorrow morning ticket sales go on. Tomorrow morning you better be online because season tickets are going to sell out quick.
A lot of people already poo-pooing me, and I get it about Greg McDermott because of a couple things. He's 60 years old. He's God in Omaha. I mean, he really is. He walks on water. And you know what else you don't have to deal with? You're a basketball-only school. You don't have to. Basketball second fiddle at Iowa. Hell, men's basketball might be fourth fiddle at this point.
I was just going to say fourth. Be careful
Fourth
to say
fiddle.
third. It's fourth.
He doesn't have to take a back seat to football. He doesn't have to take a back seat to women's basketball. He doesn't have to take a back seat. And somebody threw Bruce Pearl's name up. Well, it would be a great full circle moment, but Iowa doesn't like to work in the gray area.
And Bruce Pearl lives in the gray area.
Lives in the gray area. Okay?
Yeah, I'm with you. For a lot of reasons, I don't think McDermott's the guy. Number one is he's got a better job right now. He's a god in Omaha. It's where his family, it's where his kid went to school. He's got all the support he needs. Why would, unless you are a glutton, unless there is something in your heart that says I'm meant to take on this work, and that happens sometimes too, Trav, where a guy says, "Man, I feel a calling. I know this is a tough job, and I think I'm the guy for this job." Somebody's going to have to take this thing from the barrel, the bottom of the barrel, and start to rise it up again and believe in it, and I'm that guy. Creighton, thanks for your time, or whoever, or Tennessee, thanks for whatever. So now, but that's one part of the conversation. Can you get a guy who thinks that his calling is come to Iowa and rescue the ship? Number two, look, again, from the Iowa perspective, none of these coaches are the magic fix. None of them.
True.
I think that the closest thing you have is DeVries, where if you announce that, people go, okay, this is a guy that's shown he's a Division I winner over the course of years. He's shown that he can bring guys in quickly, turn over a program very fast that can compete at these levels. Yeah. Let's go do this thing. And I think Ben McCollum's second on that list because of where we want an Iowa guy.
Deep down, you're right.
And I think that's where that connection thing comes back to.
Let me ask you something. Why do we want I mean, because Iowa State has an Iowa guy. Even though TJ is a Wisconsin guy,
he's an Iowa guy.
He's an Iowa guy.
Yeah, right.
Lute Olson was never an Iowa guy.
Nope.
Tom Davis was an Iowa guy. George Raveling was an Iowa guy.
Okay.
Steve Alford was.
I'll push back on the Tom Davis thing because it's not a geographic thing. It's a culture thing. It's not. It doesn't matter where you're actually
That's a good way to put
geographically
it.
from. It's a culture thing. Do you have that Midwestern aw shucks type of thing about you? And I'm pretty sure that's one of the things that's the hurdle Fran couldn't get over in his time here at Iowa. He never connected with the average fans. I'm not saying he wasn't a guy at times you wanted to go have a beer with. You and I both loved our conversations with Fran McCaffrey. Loved him. Thought this is our type of guy. You and I kind of have that shithead attitude.
True.
I think a lot of Iowans want to hold themselves to a little bit of a higher standard or at least be communicated to in a different standard. Have the connection in a different way. Tom Davis could do that. Tom Davis could, man, that I felt like he was my uncle. Like when you watch Tom Davis, you went, look at the guy. Look at our guy.
He's Barney Rubble. He's your next door neighbor.
Yeah. Look at that little fella out there. That's awesome, isn't it?
But I guess with DeVries and even McCollum, we're getting even into a micro version of Iowa guy in the fact that they are both Iowa guys, right?
Yeah.
It's not only just can you become an Iowa guy, we know you're an Iowa guy because you grew up here.
Yeah.
And so, and maybe that's why I asked you that question. So it's
you've had beers at the airliner. You know your way around town. We're not going to have to take you on a sightseeing tour so that you know the campus. I think there's a part of that. And again, it's not the thing because you can bring in a Tom Davis. You can bring in a guy from the outside and he connects with the fan base. I really do believe that's if I have to pin it down to one word with Fran, it's been connection. He doesn't have that connection to the fan base that a coach needs to have to turn this thing around. Winning cures a lot. The connection's not there.
And the reason we talk about him in the past tense almost, he may keep his job, but there's no way, at least I don't think, that he can look recruits in the eye, and say, you can, this group, I'll be here in 4 years. But I don't think recruits care about that. That used to be a deal. Am I going to be here in 4 years? I don't think people care about that anymore because the portal's open. People are going to go wherever they want. And, people are bringing up names left and right. There's been a ton thrown out there. But I just think when you look at it, DeVries and McCollum are your top two. After that, you would have to start,
My buddy Gio just wrote a couple in there. What about Steve Forbes or Chris Jane? So those Steve
Forbes is at Wake Forest. Yeah.
I mean, he's been throwing around a lot of Division I jobs he's
at Wake Forest now. Has Omaha Ballou. One of the Woodleys is on his staff, I believe.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt's on his staff. It's. We don't have to play the game yet. We're playing it. A win today will quiet it even more. If Rand McCaffrey, if they lose tonight against Ohio State, we are going to be glued to our internets waiting for Beth Getz to make an announcement or something because it's going to be the information we want. We got about an hour or a half hour to go in the show. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're here till 8 o'clock. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive at therushradio.com.
Spring is coming up, and it's a time for cleaning and renewal. Get your spring cleaning started early with a fuel.
Screwed that up. Right, gotta do this one.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines, Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
My name is Corey Allen, and I'm a recon tech at Willis Automotive. Worked here for about a year and 3 months. Was an express tech before this. I was in the automotive field before I came here. Needed a different change of pace from, the management and everything, and someone who already works here, who liked how everything was ran, told me about it, told me that there was a spot open, and told me to give it a shot, and I've liked it ever since. A lot of good people that work here. Everyone's willing to share their knowledge. Yeah, I would say that's about it.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
It's therushradio.com. And the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. You can listen all day to the Rush Radio Show. Just go to therushradio.com and it got darker here. And go ahead and click that Listen Live link. And also you'll find the podcast of today's show at therushradio.com. I got to look in, Ross, tonight's Iowa game is on Peacock. And I brought up my Peacock app last night, so I'll be able to watch the Iowa games. It doesn't start till 11 o'clock in Florence, Italy time.
When you said that at first, I'm like, oh, no, it's like 5.
It's 11 o'clock here, 5 o'clock your time. So I'll be, honey, Anjanette's going to be like, honey, what are you doing? I'm watching the game. So you see Tyrese Halliburton's 4-point play last night? That dude is just sick.
Crazy good, man.
Sick.
You know, I was having a conversation the other day, Trav, about the best NBA careers out of Iowa, and whether you grew up in Iowa or played any of your college basketball in Iowa. And we were just some of the guys at the real estate office. My buddy Tyler Vaughn, who's a big college basketball fan. I think Reed Peterson was a part of the conversation. We were just kind of kicking around some names. Who are those guys that had the best NBA careers that played, again, either grew up in, so I think you can include the Corvers, the Collisons, the Heinrichs. Well, Heinrich probably wouldn't be there. Collison does deserve to be there. That guy's in the Hall of Fame. His number is retired from the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah,
Matt Bullard.
I think Heinrichs even falls. I mean, Heinrichs had it's not one of the.
He had a good career.
He had a good career.
But it's not quite on the level of Harrison Barnes. It's not on the level. Nick Collison, again, I think having your number retired, that elevates you. That's a serious career accomplishment. Played for one team his entire career. That says a lot about a human, too, what kind of guy he was. But in that conversation, it quickly turned to, is Tyrese Halliburton going to be the best?
I put it in two different categories. Guys who weren't from Iowa that came to Iowa and played.
Okay.
And I have it just Iowa born, right? I mean, you play. I look at them in two different windows. I know people are going to disagree with me. When it comes to the Iowa born, it's Kyle Korver. It's Kyle Korver.
I knew you were going to say that. How about this? Did you know, well, again, not Iowa born. This blew me away. I need to fact check this. Do you know how many three-pointers George Niang has?
Yeah, I saw this stat the other night. It's a lot more than what you would think.
Crazy what George has done, man. Again, bounced around the league a little bit and has been on a few different teams. Awesome personality, has maintained that connection back to Ames. A lot of great things about George that you should throw in there as having one of the better NBA careers. I'm with you. Korver was amazing. Sean may have nailed. Don Nelson is an NBA Hall of Famer.
As a coach and a player, isn't he?
It's a previous era, and a lot of people might not even know that Don Nelson played his college basketball at Iowa.
Yeah, because it's so long ago that you forget that Don Nelson played here. But, I mean, Tyrese and what he's doing at Indiana and being an all-star and hitting 4-point plays to win games and making himself just one of the elites, over time he might be like the all-time best. I mean, Harrison Barnes had a long career, and hell, I think McDermott. Yeah, but I don't think it's been as dominant as we thought it was going to be based on his recruiting and how he signed with it. We thought, oh my God, this is the next Jordan.
Okay, let's just use that Hall of Fame thing as a barometer. I mean, that's again, having your number retired gives you some credibility, but being a Hall of Famer, that's up here. Harrison Barnes, I think there was a moment in time, Travis, when I did think this kid's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So he didn't quite rise to that level, but man, amazing career. At one point, remember when he signed that one contract and I think he was one of the highest paid players in the NBA for like a flash.
Well, JT.
That's our buddy
said,
JT Nutt. Yeah.
He goes, Harrison made bank. And you 100%, we're not arguing that he's made bank. And he's set up for the rest of his life. There's no doubt about that.
Williams says, listen, if you're talking NBA championships, B.J. Armstrong is in that conversation. A.J. Green. Again, that's potential.
Yes.
That's the Halliburton. Yeah, Halliburton's here on the potential line. AJ's there, and they're both shooting that direction. So he absolutely could get there.
But I think the moral of the story is when you look at Hawkeyes, Cyclones, and even somebody said cornbread or corn-fed.
I like that. That's good, back and forth.
That Iowa's produced a lot of basketball talent. The state. So when you cover northern Iowa, Iowa State, and then you look at the people who have been born here. Yes, they may have gone to school somewhere else, Kansas, North Carolina. Those aren't bad
Travis,
places to go to school.
But listen, aren't we saying that through Iowa lenses? I mean, listen, dude, we just talked about it. We have one Hall of Famer.
I look at the Hall of. Isn't it weird? I look at the Basketball Hall of Fame completely different than I do the Football or the Baseball Hall of Fame. I do. Yeah, because I've never understood the Basketball Hall of Fame. They don't make a big production out of it like football and baseball do.
You're right. You're right, they don't.
But you bring up a good point, and I don't know what the criteria is for the Professional Basketball Hall of Fame. We never have the debate like we do in baseball of, oh, my God, do this guy have Hall of Fame numbers, right? I mean, it's just, oh, that guy's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Oh, they did the Basketball Hall of Fame induction? Did it? It's not top of mind like it is baseball or even football. Football, you know it because you get the jacket and you sign it. Your autograph turns into HOF, whatever
Travis,
year you got in.
Point. The only Basketball Hall of Fame speech I've ever seen is Michael Jordan's when he trashes everybody. I've seen baseball, like there's some great classic baseball induction speeches, right? Bob Euchre's, after he passed away and they were playing that one back. There's all sorts of. The Football Hall of Fame, you're right. We see that Sterling Sharp thing just the other day where Shannon told him he's going to be in. Like, that football just nails it. They nail it. They make viral moments out of telling these guys are going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Hell, Jimmy Johnson, when they brought him out on the Fox Sports set, I mean, it's a big deal to be a Football Hall of Famer. It's a big deal to be.
Why is it? Why isn't basketball?
That's a good question. I really just thought about it as you were having this conversation with me. I'm like, well, do we care about the Basketball Hall of Fame? We do.
I'm using it as a metric in this conversation. Yeah, if you've gotten to that point, then people outside of Iowa saw your importance to the game of basketball and your contribution. So I think that's. I think it's probably Don Nelson who thank you for whoever wrote that to us, because I wouldn't have gone back that far.
But back to your original question, are we looking at this through Iowa-colored glasses? The answer to that is yes. But let me put a caveat on it. I think I'm looking at it realistically through a population size. Going, you look at what, especially the bread. You're talking a state of 2 million people, and you've had guys that have made pretty darn good impacts in the NBA. Now, is it as much as some other states? No. But, man, you're looking at a state that's 2 million people, predominantly white, and you go, yeah, I'm looking through Iowa-colored glasses, but I'm trying to eliminate that bias going, yeah, but look at the names we've just thrown out there, and they're pretty darn good.
Dude, and you just touched on something, too. Like, of all of the Iowa-born players that we talked about, there's only one non-white guy. We haven't even mentioned, because Marcus Page Marcus Page had a great college career. We're talking about NBA. Harrison Barnes would be the one that we're talking about. Iowa-born. The cornbred and corn-fed. When we get to the corn-fed, then we can bring in a bunch of dudes. I mentioned Matt Bullard. Went to Valley, went to Iowa, didn't he win a couple of titles?
With the Rockets?
I know he won at least one. Bobby Hansen, great college career. NBA championship.
You know, Lance brings up a good point when it comes to Hall of Fame. And Canton is like this. It is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but let's be honest, it's the NFL Hall of Fame, right? That's the way we look at it. Basketball does they are super inclusive, and it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. In baseball, even is it the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame or is it the Baseball Hall of Fame? Because
No, I believe it's the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Okay. Okay.
And that's why Pete wasn't in it, and that's why they had to have the Negro League. The Negro League has their
That's
own.
right.
And I think that the Major League Baseball one finally had like a Negro League wing. Or, yeah, so I don't know. Never been.
You've never been to Cooperstown?
Cooperstown? Nope.
Why do I find that surprising? For as big of a baseball nut as you are and a historic nut that you have not been to Cooperstown. I find that kind of...
And I'll be honest, Trav, I think I probably missed my love of baseball has died. It's died. It's not dying. It's an absolute shell of what it was when I was a little kid. I loved baseball. I loved everything about it. I loved the history of it. I loved reading about it. I loved the stats. I loved the games. I loved being around the park. I don't know what has changed, man. My priority is something. It's not what it used to be in my life. I don't
that
miss
happens
it.
with kids, right?
Yeah,
Kids.
I think that's it. My priorities have changed. I'm got a lot happening in my life that are real responsibilities. And I think that's it. I don't know.
If you had to choose between Canton and Cooperstown, where would you go?
I'd go to Cooperstown still. Yep. I mean, I still have all of that history and knowledge and baseball stuff there in my brain. That'd be kind of cool to go through that old stuff.
Yeah, I would say, I don't have a desire to go to any of the Hall of Fames because to me, my memories, my experiences going back to it wasn't necessarily a bust on the wall or the jersey. It's me watching them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Pete Rose. Does Pete Rose belong in the Hall of Fame? The answer is yes. But my memories of Pete Rose are still from him playing in the 70s and being Charlie Hustle, right? I mean, it's just that's my memories of a guy. Huh. Michael Jordan. My memory isn't his Hall of Fame speech. It is watching Michael Jordan play.
Right.
Well, that is an interesting topic. Cornbread or corn-fed, and they're two different, but all of them represent the state. And you look at George, and even look at Tyrese. What I like about him is they come back. They love where they went to school. George does. Tyrese was just back, a week and a half ago? That's cool that they come back and they still have that love and admiration for where they went to school, and they wear their colors with pride. That's super cool. Yeah, so that was a rabbit hole I didn't think we were going to go down. You never know the rabbit holes.
I thought it was a fun one. We had that conversation at the office the other day after a meeting, and I don't remember how it got brought up, but I remember Reed saying to me, do you know where George ranks on three-pointers made? And being blown away by that stat. So I like George anyway. We got to know him while he was here, and I've had a chance to hang out with him a handful of times or talk to him. Genuinely seems like a really fun guy.
Of course, there could be some future NBA players on this year's Iowa State team. Don't we have coming up a basketball to give away? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe, okay.
No. Yes, we will. Okay.
Not today, but we
Not today.
talked about it.
But I would say be listening on Friday.
Okay.
And for some chances. Hey, Anjanette's back there. Hi, Anjanette.
She just got done with her long walk.
She didn't even say hi.
Yeah, she did. She waved at you.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, she waved at you. She can't hear you. She can't hear a word you're saying.
Oof.
Yeah,
Took
she's
that personal
not
for a
mad at
second.
you. Yeah. Where are you watching the Iowa game tonight? You going over with your dad? What are you going to do?
Probably go over and watch it with my dad. Yep. I'll probably find some. Oh, speaking of, better wave at Travis. Watch the game with the dad tonight. Boy, I kind of have a busy day here, Travis. All right, I don't want to scare you when I say what I have to do today, all right? Because people are going to hear this and go, wait a minute, that means Monday must have been bad. I'm going back to the dentist today.
Oh.
Nope. Don't. I knew that was going to be the reaction. That's why I tried to prepare you for it, okay? Everything went great Monday. No cavities, nothing. I was having some tooth pain. It turns out I just got like a little tiny thing happening with one of my teeth over here. So that's what. But I did tell you it'd been a long time since I'd been to the dentist.
Yeah.
And so that meant once he got in there and it wasn't as painful as I remembered it, and we got through that initial consultation, it was like, hey, you really got some things that you should have done here with some maintenance. And so I said, okay, I'm going to come back. I actually, did like a little plan for the rest of the year and all this. So trying to be responsible.
So what are they doing to you today?
Today's going to be a cleaning. They didn't do it. They kind of did a checkup. They wanted to make sure that this one tooth there wasn't something bad with it. And so that was what that really came from. Audrey's doing good. She's got her electric toothbrush. She's kicking butt.
Do we need to take out a GoFundMe to get your dental bill paid?
No. Luckily, no. I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good.
But what you could do is tell your friends about if they're buying or selling a home, that's how you help me with my dental bill right there, that number.
Ross Peterson Real Estate.
Yeah, Ross
at
Peterson
Iowa
with Agency Iowa. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're going back to the dentist, and now keep remembering to brush your teeth because I know you got to keep brushing, and then because
so I actually, Trav, the one thing that he told me to do that I'd never done before, because I floss, but I don't. You're supposed to floss like daily. Do people do that?
My wife does, like 3 times a day.
That's annoying.
My wife, yes, she flosses like 3 times a day. I'm like a every other day type person. She's looking at me going, "No, you're not. No, you're not."
I'm like a every other week.
Now, for the longest time, I had the water pick, and
the doctor said, "Hey, go get one of these water picks." Or like or the dentist, he's a doctor, said, "Go get one of these water picks, like $35-$40."
Yep.
The actual brand was Water Pick.
Yep.
And man, I've been using that thing the last couple days. Holy cow!
You got to work up to the level 10. Like you don't start with the water pick on full blast, or you'd be like, okay, this hurts.
See, this is where being a bidet user comes in handy. Okay, because I just ride the lightning, baby. Just go to 10, yeah.
See, I like the bidets we have over the bidets here because it's a separate bidet where it's like, okay, you kind of get a bird bath a little bit. You do.
You gotta you do your business, and then you gotta like shuffle across the room a little. It's not comfortable. I'm with you. The bidet I have that's like aftermarket, you just attach it to the toilet seat. It has settings on it. Remember telling Bill Blank this when he got it, and Bill was like, "Oh man, I got a bidet, but man, I'm using it on like the lowest setting." I said, "Yeah, just wait. Give it a couple weeks.
Crank it up. Take that thing to 10.
The lightning, baby."
Because then you'll like kind of spread a little bit more to get up farther. And you're
I'm happy that industry people are finally grabbing, because it's wonderful.
I had somebody ask me this the other day about the bidet, and I need your input about this.
Okay.
If you go to somebody's house and they have a bidet, do you use the bidet? Because some people think that's kind of gross. Like you and I'm like, well, it's just a water stream that's shooting a water jet. Why wouldn't you use the bidet? And then I started thinking, well, is it okay to use somebody else's bidet? Is that sanitary?
You ever drank out of somebody else's garden hose?
Absolutely, I have.
What's the difference?
There's no difference. No difference whatsoever. So you answered the question for me, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You can use somebody else's.
I'm here for help. Anybody out there, you got questions? This is the benefit of being an inquiring idiot. Yeah, that's what I am. I really want to know stuff, and I don't know it, and that helps. So I've probably asked myself the questions that you're going to ask. So fire away, man. Come on, come at.
Jason asks a very important question when it comes to the bidet.
Oh,
don't you need to wipe first prior to use? And the answer is no.
No.
You wipe second.
Yeah.
You spray first,
Yeah.
then wipe, because all you're going to do if you wipe first is if you got a chocolatey one, it's going to be just kind of put it all over the place.
I can make this. We don't have to make this gross at all. Just very simple. If you were outside and you tripped and fell, and your hand hits the ground, and you realize, oh my gosh, my hand hit poo. Yeah. Okay, and you go, oh, I got poo on my hand, and somebody walked up to you and they said, hey, I got two options for you to clean this. Here's a paper towel, or there's water over there that you could use to wash it off. You would run to the water. Go, I'm not going to use a paper towel to try to get this off of me. Yuck. You'd run to the water.
It's a great analogy. That's a great way to put it. You go to the water first, and then you use the paper towel to get any excess and dry off. It's that simple.
There you go. There's your bidet rabbit hole.
So Iowa and Ohio State at 5 o'clock. You got Iowa State and Cincinnati at 11:30. Iowa State is what we think will be a win. Iowa's going to be up in the air. Ross, if Iowa loses, are we on Fran watch, or do we wait until after the NIT or the Crown?
No. We're on Fran watch the minute that game ends. And I think that you're not crazy to look into every little piece of symbolatry that happens. Is that symbolism that would happen there at the end of that game? Are his players, are they hugging each other? Does Fran take extra time talking to the coach after the game, or officials? Like all of that, I'm going to be looking for all of that stuff, because I think all of those things could be indications of conversations that have happened behind scenes or whatever. My gut tells me, with the comments that Fran has made publicly, that there has been no conversation with Beth Getz. I don't think that Beth Getz has told him, hey, we're moving on. Now, Beth might be saying that to people within the athletic department. She might be saying that to boosters or something like that. I mean, with the way that Fran has come out and basically said over and over and over again, I'm planning on being here next year. What he's saying there is, you're going to have to pay me to leave. You're going to have to pay me.
Which he's entitled to.
Absolutely.
He has a contract.
I mean, I wouldn't walk away from $4 million. Nobody would. Nobody would. Contractually, you're going to have to pay me that? Let's go. So I think that all of those things will be indications about how he's truly feeling about it. If the game ends and we see an emotional Fran McCaffrey, aren't most of us going to look at that and be like, well, that means something?
Because that's human nature, right? We try to read body language. But I would say the body language started with Tom Izzo defending him right away. I mean, usually when somebody's on the hot seat, when everything's out there, you have people come to your defense pretty quickly. And the fact that Tom Izzo was so passionate about it, to me, was one of the first indications of maybe something where there's smoke, there's fire.
Everybody's seeing it. Like,
now you win tonight, and it gets quieted for another day. But this team's not going on a 5-day run. As much as I think Iowa has talent, and Iowa can easily win this game against Ohio State tonight, they're not built for a 5-day run. They're just not. Legs will get to you. Other talented teams will get to you. I think they could. I think they could win tonight. I don't think they could win again against Wisconsin. I just don't. That's my personal opinion. Lord knows I've been wrong a lot.
They could, and they could make a couple game run here. Again, short of this team winning the Big Ten title, I don't see this season coming to an end here. But short of the Big Ten title and making the instant where I'm not saying, all right, you got to be done. You got to bottom this thing. It's bottomed out. No, it hasn't. I say that, but I got to correct myself here. I want to be careful. If he comes back next year, the attendance will go down. The interest will somehow get less. The energy will even die more. And then you've got to have an amazing season next year to start to build it back the other direction.
I'll put a caveat on what you said. I don't disagree. Now, if they He comes back next year. I think attendance is down to start. If you win, people will start showing up because you're going to create an experience. And if you're competitive and in that
and have
in
some
that
great
mix,
player that has energy and excitement. You get a freshman Reggie Evans again, or you bring in a Luka who's all of a sudden a Player of the Year candidate. Yeah. Do you think any of that happens?
No, I don't.
No, neither do I. My hope for that is zero.
All right. Again, Iowa State at 11:30, Iowa at 5 o'clock. Check out those games. We'll be talking about them tomorrow.
What's your plan? I talked about going to the dentist. What are you doing?
We're going to go walk up to, I believe, to the Piazza de Michelangelo. Kind of rainy here today, so I'm going to try to get some steps in, and I'm just going to go sightsee a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do.
Just going to walk around Italy, maybe see Piazza de Michelangelo. I'm headed to the dentist and then buying pizzas for teachers today.
Because you're a better man than me. You're a nicer man than I am.
No, not at all. No, I'm an idiot.
Thanks for listening to the show today. It is The Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Here, I'll do this for us. Bye, buddy.
Spring is in the air and the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Your car has worked hard all winter. Now it's time to give it the care it deserves. Did you know spark plugs should be replaced every 60,000 miles on some newer turbocharged vehicles? Also, carbon deposits on the valves can disrupt the airflow of the engine. These simple services can keep your engine running smoothly, ensure you start every adventure with confidence. Visit Willis Chevrolet today and make sure your car is ready for the road ahead.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.